all our media friends for participating in today's annual press conference of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. I warmly welcome Shri Hardeep Singh Puri sir, the Honorable Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas. I also welcome Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary Mahua, and other senior officers of the ministry who are also present here today. We have gathered here today for presenting before you the details of the transformation that has taken place in the urban sector in the recent years. The initiatives undertaken by Mahua have played a key role in this transformation. All the missions like SBM, PMAY Urban, Amrut and Smart City Mission are playing an important role in addressing the issues faced by urban areas. PM Swanidhi is helping in empowerment of street vendors across the country. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is also committed for improving the urban mobility in the country. The metro network has expanded significantly in last few years.
A warm welcome to all of you. I want this to be an interactive session. I want this to be an interactive session for two reasons. We are going to make available to all of you this compilation which is transforming urban landscape between 2014 and 2023. So सारे जो आंकड़े हैं इसमें आपको मिल जाएंगे. Point one. Point two. Since I have had the privilege of being a member of the Council of Ministers, the process started in 2017 in September. हमने हर साल either at the end of the year or at the beginning of the new year, we have done such interactive sessions. Today, I think this interactive session assumes a higher importance, क्योंकि इस बार हम सिर्फ 2023 में जो हाउसिंग और अर्बन अफेयर्स मंत्रालय के जो रिपोर्ट कार्ड है, हम सिर्फ उसी को नहीं देख रहे हैं, हम 2014 के बाद जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुई है, हम उसको भी असेस करने के लिए हमारे पास एक बेसिस है. एंड आई थिंक राजीव वाज मेकिंग द पॉइंट वेरी वेल दैट what I think the focus should be on is the manner in which people's lives are being transformed. And transformation in life का क्या मतलब है? आप किसी गरीब के सर पर छत देते हैं, ये उनका सपना होता है. पहले भी जो भी पॉलिटिकल डिस्पेंसेशन थी, उन्होंने रूफ ऑन द हेड ऑफ एवरी इंडियन, गरीबी हटाओ के नारे लगाए. बट व्हाट वाज द नेट रिजल्ट? जहां तक मुझे याद है, आई एम हैप्पी दैट माय कॉलीग्स 2004 और 14 के बीच में जो दिल्ली में सरकार थी, उन्होंने भी हाउसिंग की बात की. बट लुक एट द फिगर्स. टोटल GNURM 13 लाख उन्होंने सैंक्शन किए आवास अर्बन सेक्टर में, और 13 लाख में से सिर्फ 8 लाख वो बना पाए. अब इसको कंपेयर करिए, 13 लाख सैंक्शन किए, 8 लाख बना पाए, ये 10 साल में. हमारे जो 9 साढ़े 9 साल में वो फिगर क्या है? 1 करोड़ 19 लाख सैंक्शन किए, 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा ग्राउंड किए, और 79 या 80 लाख लोगों को, लाभार्थियों को ये आवास ऑलरेडी मिल गया. ए फंडामेंटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. और अगर हमारा रूरल सेक्टर मिला दें उसको, दिस 1 करोड़ 19 लाख बिकम 4 करोड़. बट आई want to give you this only as an example. Here you can argue that these Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is a scheme of which the beneficiaries are economically weaker section or middle income group in the CLSS. But let me go to the other section. During the COVID period, one of the most vulnerable sections in our society were the street vendors. People who took loans at very high interest rates. I mean, those of you who are paid by media houses, your salary, most of your salary didn't stop. But during the economic lockdown, there were some professions who came to a complete breakdown point. Today, the street vendors or Swanidhi scheme is one scheme which was conceptualized by the Honorable Prime Minister, implemented in record speed. एक महीने के दौरान, if I remember, after the guidelines had been done, guidelines were prepared in 4-5 days, guidelines announced, एक महीने के अंदर we were able to hand out the first loan. और देखिए इसकी विशेषता क्या है. कोई कोलैटरल के बगैर आपने स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स को who were deep in debt at that point of time 10,000 रुपए का लोन दिया. Most of them utilized that to pay off the debt that they had incurred during the first few months of the pandemic. Then they paid that back in time, no interest, 20,000 का लोन, and then similarly 50,000 का लोन. आपको मिलने से पहले अपने ब्रीफिंग करवा रहा था तो मैंने अपने जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी से पूछा, मैंने कहा भैया आज का पोर्टल पे क्या है? He said 1 घंटे के अंदर we will cross 59 lakhs loans. That's a very big thing. When I answer questions in Parliament, अगर मेरा Monday और Thursday होता है, Monday और Thursday में फिगर चेंज हो जाता है. We are adding something like sometimes 2 lakhs per month, maybe not that much, but कितने महीने में कितने नए स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स को लोन आप दिलवा रहे हैं?
सर अभी 1 महीने में 2 लाख नए स्ट्रीट
वेरी गुड, बहुत ऑफ देम सेड 2 लाख. सो आप ऐसे हैं कि आप 59 lakhs पे पहुंच गए. और I find something very interesting. 31 मार्च 2023 को हम लोग थे 34 लाख पे, और 31 मार्च 1 अप्रैल से लेके आजकल we have gone from 34 lakhs to 59 lakhs. So these are all schemes actually helping people. Now I'll tell you, when I go to अभी विकसित भारत संकल्प यात्रा के दौरान मेरा सौभाग्य मिला रूरल केरला, रूरल कर्नाटक, महाराष्ट्र में जाने का. Everywhere the Swanidhi scheme is a roaring success because it is transforming the lives of people. That's the point I'm making. Whether it's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, I want to come now to some other. 2004 और 14 के दौरान total expenditure, by expenditure I want to define as the combined spend on all the urban schemes put together as a working definition. 10 साल में था 1,57,000 करोड़. आज का फिगर इसमें होगा कुछ 18 लाख 19 लाख करोड़ के आसपास. जो भी हमारी केंद्रीय योजनाएं हैं, इनका क्यूमुलेटिव एक्सपेंडिचर today should stand at around 76,000 crores. If you add what the others, states, etc. join into that, at a conservative estimate, it comes to 1.25 lakh crore annual expenditure. So my point is here, how is that transforming the lives of our people? I want to go now away from Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is one where you can empirically measure the number of homes you have grounded, where you can empirically measure the homes you have given to the beneficiary. I want to, and Swanidhi I gave you, I want to go to the urban transport, because transforming the lives now, I don't have any ready calculation of what the contribution of cities is to the country's GDP. We were having a discussion this morning. I think it should be around 60-65%. Now, how many people live in your cities, in urban areas? I have the figure for 1947. It was 17% of your population lived in urban areas. You had a population of 350 million. Today, our population should be in the vicinity of 138-140 crores. Our urban transport system, before the Honorable Prime Minister assumed responsibility, Jaideep would have been around 250 kilometers total in the country.
Yes.
Today, Delhi alone has 390 kilometers plus. By 390 kilometers plus means Delhi or the NCRT region has one of the largest metro systems in the world. I was quickly trying to do an analysis and it compares very favorably. But the difference is, what you are comparing it to are mature systems which are not likely to expand because there is no scope for expansion. And here, when you talk about Delhi Metro, you are talking about phase 3, phase 4. अभी मैं बेंगलुरु में था. They have about 71 kilometers running. जो phase 2 मिला के 75 kilometers running. भाई जब मैं फिगर देता हूँ 71, 75, the broad figures. So otherwise I'll have to start reading out. मिला के phase 2 का मिला के हो जाएगा 175 kilometers. अच्छा, राइडरशिप आप देख लीजिए. ये मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कितना सिस्टम है कर्नाटक में, बेंगलुरु में, कितना दिल्ली में है. राइडरशिप देख लीजिए. दिल्ली की जो राइडरशिप है, it is today I think close to 72 lakhs per day. Now I'm talking about transforming the lives of our citizens. अगर ये नहीं होती तो आप मेरे को बताइए, you would have that many people in that many cars or two-wheelers or whatever on the road. So you're taking people off the roads, you're taking people into a clean, pollution-free system, you're adding last mile connectivity, because if the last mile connectivity is not there, don't trust me, nobody will travel by metro. अगर metro को जानने के बाद तो आपका problem होगा. So Delhi is 72 lakhs, Bengaluru I think should be about 7.5 lakhs. अगर आप हैदराबाद और चेन्नई और बड़े शहरों को भी देख लें, it's that much. So you are not only, you have a very mature system. आज मैं सुबह का फिगर था 905 किलोमीटर्स और अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन 956 किलोमीटर. जब ये 956 किलोमीटर्स बन जाएगा, आप देखिएगा, you will have the second largest metro system in the world. Therefore, I am frankly perplexed when educated people working in so-called elite colleges write studies, and economists and I'm naming the magazine, somebody picks it up. सिर पैर का जान नहीं है कि जी इन्होंने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना लिया और उसमें तो कोई ट्रैवल ही नहीं करता. अरे भाई एक बार खुद जरा ट्रैवल करके देख लो. I'm not talking about peak hour, I'm talking about any time. And secondly, by all capital expenditure needs to be absorbed and processed with maturity, because those loans need to be repaid. Now when I go to a metro system and I hear success stories, I ask them, is it breaking even? I said yes. Some are broken even, some more. Some of the smaller cities, there may be an issue, but the point is, you have two options. Either you wait for the density of population to explode and then you bring in, or where you have a reasonable anticipation that the city is growing well, then you provide efficient, modern, pollution-free, cost-effective metro system. Availability, yes. Affordability, if you ask me, today I go around the country, the consumer wants a metro system. Is our metro system priced, and I mean, not at all. Not at all. In fact, a case could be made out that in fact, fare should be higher. But no, we have this philosophy of not only making a service available, making sure that the affordability is also within range. So I've gone from Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana to transforming the lives of people. I have gone to Swanidhi scheme for the most vulnerable people. I have come to capital expenditure. I have come to this thing. All those figures, if you see, not only for 23, but from what's happened between 1914 and 1924, it's a very, I would say with all humility, for us, it's been a very satisfying experience, because we have actually been able to make a difference and improve the quality of lives and ease of living to our urban populations. But it doesn't stop there. I would like you to also see the figures for the Swachh Bharat mission. Maybe because we've had the 8th edition of the Swachhta Sarvekshan yesterday, it's fresh in my mind. देखिए, अब ये नहीं है कि सफाई है नहीं. Now cities are competing with each other. Cities in different classes. Those who have smaller populations, those who have larger populations, cantonment town. Rupali, correct me, but my recollection as of the function yesterday, that something like 4,447 or something urban local bodies or cities participated. More than 12 crore people provided the feedback, and the assessors visited, I think, 1 lakh places. 100,000 places were visited, and you can measure the performance of cities in terms of their movement up and down the index. I know some of the comments were very positive. He said, sir, ye to fair nahi hai. By the way, I am going to share a secret with you. Before every survection results are announced, I get large number of telephone calls. I won't tell you where they come from. He said, हमने बड़ी सफाई की है, बड़ा अच्छा हुआ, देखिए fair होना चाहिए. मैंने आज तक किसी एक phone call कि ये knowledge आप secretary से share कीजिए. He's sitting here. Because I'm sure he also gets the calls. We don't discuss it. It is based on an absolutely clinical assessment by people, citizens' feedback and other things. So it's not surprising that some cities move up, some cities lose their position. And if you look at the survection results, I'm not trying to score a political point out of it, but they also conform to your popular, कुछ ऐसी states हैं regrettably, where the premium on cleanliness and safai is not what it should be. I'm not making a value judgment. For the last 7 years, one city was number one. They're still number one, but jointly another city has caught up. Somebody told me कि कुछ स्टेट्स को अवार्ड मिलते हैं. मैंने कहा भाई अवार्ड तभी तो मिलते होंगे क्योंकि उन्होंने मेहनत की है. उनकी मेहनत की जो रिजल्ट्स है वो दिखते हैं, और जो लोग फीडबैक देते हैं, जो लोग जाके देखते हैं, वो उनको भी मिलता है. टुडे इफ यू लुक एट द स्वच्छ भारत मिशन एंड अमृत, वेरी इंप्रेसिव वर्क हैज बीन डन अंडर बोथ, बट द प्रोविजनिंग गोइंग फॉरवर्ड इज इक्वली इंप्रेसिव. Now, अमृत 2 में तो अभी खास काम नहीं हुआ. अभी स्टेट एनुअल एक्शन प्लान जो आ रहे हैं, हम लोग शुरू कर रहे हैं, because this is the start of a process. But if I saw the figures for both SBM and Amrut 2 together comes to what, 4,71,000 crores provisioning. It's a fair amount of provisioning. I want to ask Secretary if there are any other thing broad. I think the theme here is lives, how lives are being transformed. And these are transformation in lives of all segments of society. या NULM हमारी जो स्कीम है, जो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स है, अभी आपने एक एग्जीबिशन की थी जिसमें अर्बन स्क्वायर. आई वाज वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड विद द वर्क दैट हैज बीन डन बाय आवर सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, द लेडीज वर्किंग देयर. दे हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द लोकल craftsmanship, the artisans, etc. So I'm going to stop here, but I'll request Manoj ji in case there's some other schemes you want to just fit in. Otherwise, statistics are all here. कई योजनाएं हैं जिनको मैंने अभी कवर नहीं किया. If you look at स्मार्ट सिटीज मिशन, उसकी कवरेज इसमें है. एग्जैक्ट आपको फिगर मिल जाएंगे, कितने प्रोजेक्ट, कितने एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ और टाइमलाइन क्या है. देखिए, स्मार्ट सिटीज मिशन का जो प्रोजेक्ट था, इट इज वन ऑफ ए काइंड. वी हैड no experience. No country in the world had an experience ki a fully, highly populated, economically vibrant country suddenly says we're going to make smart cities. तो हमारा जो बीजेपी का मैनिफेस्टो था 2014 के चुनाव के से पहले, हमने कहा था we will build 100 new smart cities. Whoever did the drafting overlooked the basic fact. We also needed to smartify existing areas. So we adopted a two-pronged approach. Area-based development within an existing city. जैसे दिल्ली में NDMC is a smart city. And you also had greenfield. By greenfield I mean, क्या नाम इसका, New Raipur, नया रायपुर. Okay? Now, two things happened. The cities had to seek election. They had to come up with projects and somebody had to select them. So, in the overall process, I'm not surprised, 100 में से 90 became ABD, traditional areas में area based development, and 10 new greenfield smart cities. आपका सवाल बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. आप कह रहे हैं कि ये 100 तो हो जाएंगे. We can tell you when the time lies, because you look at the number of projects, the amount of expenditure, कब तक होगा, 4 महीने में होगा, 6 महीने में होगा, that's not the issue. हो जाएगा जल्दी, 2014 में, 24 में hopefully over. What next? The question has a philosophical element to it. आपकी अगर अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज 4,500 के करीब हैं, 400, 9,012, see, 4,912. Will we make them all smart cities? I don't think that was ever the intention. The experience which we gained from the smart cities project has a learning experience, and it also has a demonstrative effect. That experience has been utilized by some state governments to organize, to announce their own smart cities. It is also been utilized now, and now there is talk of smart districts, smart this, smart that. Uska kya hoga? That is your question. I think it would be wrong from me in a press conference, because I am not even, these are larger decisions which have to be taken. हम इस experience को आगे कैसे ले जाते हैं? कुछ states अपने आप, अपने कुछ शहरों को पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप, ये भी स्कीम बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है. एक तो सेंट्रल आउटले है, हर एक स्मार्ट सिटीज को आपने जो दिया, और मेरे ख्याल शायद कोई 47,000 crores there is for public private partnership. How this goes, smart districts, smart villages, there's a lot of intellectual churning going around. And I think in the coming months, when you all comment on it, what is the experience, देखिए, as far as the experience of smart cities is concerned, I am very clear. You can quantify that. Improvement in traffic management, improvement in issues relating to women's security, several other things you can catalog there. So this is a learning experience and this is a documented experience. Of course, the experiences vary. Some smart cities have done better than the others, but that's also a system of inter-se competition amongst the smart cities so that you go. Going forward, one thing I am clear on, that the experience we've got from this has been literally of a very, very professionally, of a very high order. There are people here studying this, people outside. This is an experience which will not be lost. It will be utilized for further work. Whether that work comes in the form of states taking it up, smart villages, smart district, these are decisions which will come hopefully soon. I have spent, I think in the last 1 month or so, 5 or 6 days in the beautiful state of Kerala. I've been in Palakkad and I am acutely aware of political statements which are made. All I can tell you is the centre has no intention and has never discriminated in the provisioning and funding of projects based on which government has been there. I'm not aware of it. I've been by the way, I've been a long-serving minister. I've been longest-serving housing. I've never heard of anything like that. Problems do arise sometimes on issues where projects of the central government, when implemented in states, the state wants to, how do I say it? They want to show this as their project. Now, what you say in conversations amongst your friends, I don't know. But if it's a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana project, and at the very minimum, it should have the logo of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana on it. That's a simple point I make. Insofar as holding back funds, I mean, this is the first time hearing of it. My problem is different. We have a very clear provisioning. I'm not going into any particular scheme because that's not the purpose of this press conference. Some schemes we give 20, 40, 40. That is, we give 20% money upfront, 40% when we see everything is in place, and we release the rest when there is a utilization certificate. Okay, my problem is different. My problem is to chase those state governments where we have given the money and they have not been utilizing it. Because the utilization is also based on a very scientific way that we will send the money, but you have to put your own money in it also. That's why all our portals, all our, even in smart city mission say, हमने इतना रिलीज किया, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने इतना किया. जहाँ पे शेयर कम है, then the facts speak for themselves.
सर, ये कैबिनेट ने जो 10,000 बसेस का प्रस्ताव पास किया सर, एक तो उसका
मुझे
स्टेटस,
बड़ी खुशी है आपने ये सवाल पूछा, क्योंकि आज आने से पहले इसे मैं आपको उसका अपडेट ले रहा हूँ. हाँ जी बताइए.
उसका एक तो स्टेटस सर क्या है. दूसरा सर, जो मेट्रो स्टेशंस पे लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी की आपने बात की है, तो बहुत से अभी इतना मतलब मेट्रो से ही कनेक्टिविटी वहाँ के लिए सर, ई बसेस का, मिनी ई बसेस का कोई प्रपोजल आप?
All the work had been done, tender has been floated. And tender has been floated both for 7 meters, 9 meters and 12 meter buses. The tender, this again is something, a job you are undertaking for the first time. Because it's qualitatively different from the FAME scheme which the Ministry of Heavy Industries was implementing. Very different because this scheme involves an operation where there is a viability issue. It involves a particular amount to be provisioned by the central government and the state government for the operator. Therefore, in my view, it's a new way we are doing it and very simple. Otherwise, what will happen? People will not buy these buses, and when they are not sure of how much ridership, etc. The size of the bus being what it is and their operation, I think in the cities where the population is of a particular kind, I don't remember offhand, I think the larger cities were already covered by FAME, if I remember.
9 cities are covered.
9 cities were already covered. These are the very large cities like Delhi and Mumbai and Hyderabad and Bangalore. This covers population between
3 lakhs to
3 lakhs to 5 lakhs or
3 lakhs to everything other than 9 cities.
other than those 9 cities. So, in those gradations, that order, the overall provisioning is for 10,000 buses. I can share with you the concerned officials are in touch with the manufacturers, etc. It was not easy. We had to look at those tender terms very carefully because some of that stuff was not easily manufactured here. So we also didn't want to create a complication. Obviously, domestic manufacture is the focus of this scheme.
My name is Sagar. I run a media company. Delhi is an international city, and you have done excellent in metro system and other cleanliness. Hats off to you. But my question goes on. Still, we find in a Connaught Place or a posh locality, the beggars are there, which is a criminal act as per the Delhi Act, and you find lot of beggars and lot of poverty is reflected in this city.
It's got no credit to me. If Delhi has developed as an international city, I'm the credit for that elsewhere. My limited purpose of this interaction is what are our central government schemes. Many of these local land is a state subject. Delhi is a particularly complex entity, and I'll come to that international city part later. Because if you define an international city as part of an international airport, then most of India will become an international city because you've got international airports coming up everywhere. You understand? That's the demand. People don't want to go just to a hub. They want to. I mean, if you look at Delhi, if you're sitting at Delhi is a very major international entry point hub. Jewar Airport coming up, and Delhi and Jewar together will have more traffic than London, Heathrow, Gatwick and Stansted together. If you go a little north, Chandigarh is there, Amritsar is there, Srinagar is there. So, wo baat hai. देखिए ये begging जो problem है. First of all, I don't think this is the place. I'm always for a human and a humane approach. Shelters are there. I'd be very happy to share with you कि हमारे कितने shelters हैं, कितने और winter में खास करके. बाकी ये जो activity है, I think you should give credit where it is due. That even an activity like street vending, we are trying to do it in a rational way. That is, there's two elements as far as I know, my joint secretary or secretary. One is the identification of who is a street vendor, number one. Number two, once that identification is there, the idea is to insulate that person, whoever he or she may be, from harassment at the hands of local authorities. और फिर उनको सम्मान देना, Then you have vending zones. So there's a full system. Insofar as other issues are concerned, believe me, as the city prospers, this is the worldwide phenomenon. There will be some people engaging in that kind of activity, but let's be human on it. But see, it's not a central government issue as far as I can tell.
The Ministry of Social Justice is running a program called Smile, which is
Smile.
That
Exactly. So I was saying,
beggars.
we'd be happy to put you in touch. Ministry of Social Justice, this program that they are running, Smile, we'll be happy to put you in touch with them. You see, the point is, the whole scheme, and correct me Manoj, is based on our ability we have demonstrated to put a bouquet of options in front of all our partners in the system of cooperative federalism. That the states had a choice of choosing between affordable housing in partnership, which is a vertical which involves state government making some land available, then the individual beneficiary receiving some money from the central government, 1.5 lakhs, from the state government can vary, and then individual beneficiary putting it. Then there are other options like BLC, beneficiary-led construction, which involves, if you have a traditional family home, then the central government gives you some money. Third one was in situ slum rehabilitation. Fourth is CLSS, which was a credit-linked subsidy scheme, is an interest subvention. If you're a young professional and you go to a bank and you say you were to ask for a loan, it comes at 12%. Hypothetically, I'm saying you would get 3% interest subvention upfront. Now we've offered this to everybody, but this offer was there to everybody when the scheme started. The scheme, if I remember correctly, started in June 2015. Today you are at the maturing point. If we are extending the scheme, it is only to ensure that those who are part of a scheme and the scheme is going on, it suddenly should not come up, cut off. So, and I think the figures speak for themselves. 1 crore 19 lakh sanctioned, more than 1 crore grounded. Today the figure that Kuldeep gave me was 79 lakh received, we are handing over at the rate of 3-4 lakhs a month or what? No?
1 to 2 lakh, right?
1 or 2 lakhs a month in some and little faster than the other, etc. So the December 25 cutoff nidhi is designed to ensure that the stuff which is in the pipeline goes. We are not under this scheme sanctioning any new thing. I wouldn't have any, negotiating room with the finance ministry, because the scheme was started in June 2015, is supposed to end now, and we are extending it by a few months. Ke ye jo pipeline cases khatam ho jaye. Some states, you see, the scheme, apart from this bouquet of options, had another very interesting feature. We don't sanction on our own. We get demands from the state government. Now, so if a state government in 2016 told the secretary in the ministry, who heads a committee called the Committee for Sanctioning and Monitoring of Projects, that we want 20,000 in a particular category. So we just did our analysis, whether it looked viable. Some of them came back and said that they are over. So we said, very happy, we'll curtail that. He said, no. What we do is we want to shift this to another category. So we are at that stage of adjustment. But, I think Manoj takes a meeting of that Central Monitoring and Sanctioning Committee every month. A lot of work has gone on, including very recently. There were some questions on nuancing it, etc. The date of announcement, etc. Now, this is something I think we'll have to go to cabinet. Should be going to the cabinet whenever. We have also been a little preoccupied with other things. So it's my answer to you, Deepak, is this is something where a lot of work has been done. It's in the final stages. When it will be done, I can't predict, because I stuck my neck out some time ago. I said, "Abhi is hafte, 10 hafte," but still some more work was remaining. It's at a very rich stage. Insofar as Parliament total, how much has been provisioned, this thing, I will give you the figure. The provision, you know that provision, how much has been released, we'll get you the figure. कच्चे तेल का दाम होता है. मैंने अक्सर कहा, और I'll repeat it very quickly, that the price of petrol at the bunk, at the retail point, depends on the following. Cost in the international, the bench price, okay? Cost of insurance and freight, bringing the kacha tel. Why? Because 85% of our consumption of that 5 million barrels a day is still through imports. Number 2, refining margin, and then the taxes imposed by the center and the state governments. Okay? Now, for anyone to say कि कंपनीज का बड़ा अच्छा प्रॉफिट हुआ, इसे कम कर दो, अरे भाई देख तो रहो दुनिया में हो क्या रहा है. कल I think one tanker was seized by forces, I'm not taking any names, by one country. Insurance and freight rates are shooting up, or the picture which is there in the beginning of the week may not be the picture at the end of the week. Or last time also, what are we discussing? You're talking about the role of OMCs or oil marketing companies. Exemplary role. They were good corporate citizens. खुद का नुकसान हो रहा था, under recovery हो रही थी. Still they didn't raise the price. India, I think, and I'm saying I think because most likely, is the only country in the world where prices of petrol and diesel at the pump have come down in the last 2 years. So ये संभावना, ये भी सस्ता हो रहा, वो भी होता है. यार केजरीवाल का गवर्नमेंट होता है, आप पेट्रोल डीजल मुफ्त कब कर रहे हो? ठीक है, खुद का कंगाला हो जाए. So this has to be done. They are answerable to their shareholders, but they're doing a fantastic job. So today we are in the situation, I don't know, is Rasal is missing from here. Today I think price is at 79 because of this Red Sea problem. But the answer should be, or your question should be, हमें बड़ी खुशी हुई पता लग के कि काकीनाडा में in the Krishna Godavari basin बहुत बढ़िया oil और gas की वो oil started flowing. उसमें तो आप focus नहीं कर रहे हैं, अब कब कम होगा? Kind of दुकानदारी has to be based on scientific facts. So अगर मान लीजिए ये global production is sufficient to meet global demand, which is in the hands of the OPEC plus, they keep producing this thing. But so far the good news is that we have navigated it quite well. हमने यहाँ ना availability में कमी आने दी, ना affordability में कमी आने दी, और sustainability भी हम कर रहे हैं. But I think this is a separate discussion, not in a housing ministry thing. My job in the current place where I'm sitting is to ensure that the benefits of all the central schemes, particularly those that affect the lives of millions of our countrymen, reach every citizen of the country. Because this is the Honorable Prime Minister's No, this is the sankalp, this is the ecosystem, etc. So we make it available. Some are able to take advantage of it. Some of the states, for instance, which traditionally were regarded as not very forthcoming in the implementation of development scheme. But Uttar Pradesh is a case in point. Look at the transformation, and if I compare that to another large state, you'll see the difference. I am very happy when people participate, but you named one state. When it came to the Honorable Prime Minister said, greatest tribute we can pay to the Mahatma is to make India open defecation free by 2nd October 2019. And we became open defecation free except in one state. Okay, I'm lucky, I'm very fortunate that that's also there now, that's been rectified. Baki aisa hai, I am a firm believer that the more the survection, that 8th edition results which came yesterday, look at the kind of press coverage they've got. Any other event doesn't get that kind of press. It's going down to the people. It's sinking into the consciousness. People will exert the pressure. Today, even in all these stories of folklore, where somebody drops this thing, some little child goes and picks up the thing, etc. That is the transformation. It's a journey which started with Bapuji in 1916 in Banaras Hindu College. And today, I think the country for the first time, put aside the cynicism of 2014, when the all this discussion started, and see where we have reached now.
Its importance in the economy, like so helping the GDP as well. What is the roadmap?